Because like I know Sydney, her downtime thing is that she watches horror movies, and I don't know how she finds so many fucking horror movies to watch. I didn't know this many horror movies existed. She watches at least 3 new horror movies every week.
Dude, like,
at least.
The cesspool of horror movies is like never ending. It's like, actually insane.
Because I was never big into horror movies. I don't really like horror movies. And I assume you guys aren't big fans either, because none of it showed up on our 3x3s.
No, I don't.
Like not a single one.
There's some good ones, but it's like it's not my favorite genre. That's for sure. Yeah.
But she somehow finds so many new ones. Huh?
Shining's really good.
Shining's good. I like The Shine. There's only a few horror movies that I really like. Shining's one of them. Because like my taste in horror movies is really niche, I think, because I like kind of Lovecraftian horrors, because I don't like the usual, like, jump scares, ghosts, paranormal stuff.
That's the problem, is that so much horror is jump scares now.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's cheap and easy to rely
on.
Yeah,
I think that's why I'm such a big fan of like Junji Ito and stuff like that, because it's really like the horror that I like is really just the ones that really unsettle me.
Like the macabre horror, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm exactly like that. Like the kind of like Asian horror is like definitely more my taste in horror, because like, again, it's like you see like, you watch one Paranormal Activity, you've basically seen them all.
How the fuck did Paranormal Activity get so big?
It's because Steven Spielberg greenlit it. He literally.
Is that true?
Yeah. So I actually read up on it because I had the exact same thought. I was like, I saw fucking the trail of a Paranormal Activity 73, and I was like, why are there so many?
But I remember when it came out, I was in school, and everyone was like, "This is the scariest movie ever."
Yeah,
so scary.
Yeah, I know, right? And I was just, everyone was like shitting their pants over it. I remember because I was in university at the time, and so I was like, all right, I'll see what the hype's about, because back then my roommates had a watch party, and then we watched Paranormal Activity, the first one, and everyone was like jumping at just like the fucking closet opening, and I'm just like, I can literally see the fucking string being used to open this fucking door. How is this scary? What is going on?
One remote press.
Dude. I watched one that I thought wasn't bad. Was it The Invisible Man? It wasn't that bad, actually. Is that what it's called?
Oh, The Invisible Man.
Yeah,
the one about the
Invisible
Man.
That is
Shit.
Sydney showed me that one.
I like that one.
It was alright.
Yeah, I quite like that one.
Yeah.
I watched it in the cinemas. Pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
I like I watched the other day. I finally watched what is it? Hereditary.
Oh,
how was that one?
Because I missed out on it when it first came out, so I kind of missed the initial hype on it, because I was like, Western horror, it's whatever for me.
Yeah.
But then I think Felix showed me Midsummer, which is done by the same guy, Ari Aster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is very creepy, but also kind of cool and experimental. So I was like, all right. Well, I heard Hereditary was pretty good. I watched it. It's weird. I almost wouldn't even call it a horror film. It's like, I don't know. It's, you know what it feels like? It feels like if David Lynch made a horror film.
Yeah. Okay.
Where it's like, it's scary, but
it's
also
as we established in the previous 3x3, Joey, the big art snob.
Yeah, I'm
David
the
Lynch.
I feel like to make a good horror movie, you have to be fucked up.
Yeah.
Well,
You have to just be completely fucked up.
Yeah.
To make any horror content, I feel you need to be fucked up.
Maybe.
In some aspect.
Actually, me and Sydney watched. We had a night the other day that we just kind of like binged part of like the Final Destination series. And the reason for that was because I kind of remembered my very first.
As a teenager, I loved those films.
Yeah. I remember the very first time I watched Final Destination, and it was actually in school, right?
Right.
So I think it was like middle school at the time. So I was like, I think around 12, 13 years old, and I don't know if the same thing for Australia, but like at the end of term in school, right? It's kind of like a free for all, and the teachers, it's kind of like that period where it's like the last 2 classes of the year or something. Teachers just let you do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah.
Was that true in Australia?
Yeah, I definitely think it depends on the school, but I think most schools it was kind of just like, I'm going on break in fucking 3 days.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
Yeah. So it was just like in the school I was in, you just had a week period where you just basically go to class, and every teacher would put on a different film, or
just
like
roll in the TV.
Yeah,
right?
just roll in the TV, and everyone would watch a different film. And like fucking 90% of the time, it was Shrek. It was fucking okay. It was just always Shrek.
I was about to say we watched Shrek like every year, at least twice.
Yeah, okay. Good to know that was just a nationwide thing.
It's that time of year again.
Okay, it's like end of year. All right, I guess it's Shrek again. And like, I remember this one class, one of my classmates brought in a DVD, right? Because because the teacher would ask, "What does everyone want to watch?" And so this guy Samuel, he brings out the DVD and he brings out Final Destination, and he was like, "This is a film I think the entire class would want to watch," and everyone's like, "Yeah, sure." Anything.
How old are you?
I think we were like 12 at the time.
That is scarring for a 12-year-old.
I had not heard of Final Destination at the time, but
Right.
we were like, yeah, sure. Like, because, like, you know, anything to get us away from Shrek or whatever, or whatever the usual films we were
Right.
watching,
Yeah.
right? So he was like, Miss, this, I think the classroom would want to watch this, and nobody kind of like opposed it. So, and the teacher had never heard of the film before.
Oh my God.
Okay. So she was
That's
like,
dangerous.
So she was like,
This boy just had this DVD on him.
I think he knew what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
And so so the film starts off in Final Destination, and characters are already like it's I don't know what the rating was like back then, but characters were already swearing. But I think in PG films in like the UK, even if you have like one or two swear words, it can still be skewered towards like the lower ratings if it's just like one or two swear words.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So like characters. So I remember the opening scene where they like get on the plane and people start arguing or whatever. It's kind of sus because you can hear people obviously swearing, and the teacher's just like, Samuel, is this suitable for this age range? And he's like, yeah, miss, don't worry. It's just the opening scene. Don't worry, miss. Just don't worry about it. And she's like, okay. And so I remember the opening scene is where like, I think it's where the plane crashes. That's the first Final Destination. And I remember, so a bunch of 12-year-olds are just watching this plane take off, and then obviously the plane starts to crash. The wing snaps, and everyone's fucking screaming. It's terrifying, right? In the scene, and then you see like blood splatter, and then you see someone getting burned alive, and immediately, like the teacher gets up. Aggressively gets off to the TV, doesn't even switch it off, unplugs the TV and goes, Samuel, get outside now. And that was my very first experience with Final Destination.
Absolute Chad Samuel. He probably walked out and was like, worth it.